Command of the Army, former commanders, distinguished delegates, distinguished invitees, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge that the key in the success of the humanitarian operation conducted, the Sri Lanka Air Force played a vital role in the 3-decade-long battle against terrorism, culminating in carrying out operations in both its classic and supporting roles in the humanitarian operation under discussion. During the next 10 minutes, I will present to you the operations carried out by the Air Force in supporting land forces during the humanitarian operation launched to rescue the innocent Tamil civilians. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to acknowledge that the key in the success of the humanitarian operation conducted by the armed forces of Sri Lanka was the outstanding leadership and commitment provided at all levels. This was true of the political leadership, starting from His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka, the Secretary of Defense, to the military leadership, from the service commanders right down to the field commanders. They endured the pressures of the diplomatic, political, and military arenas with precise objectives to guide the troops. This effort produced strategies, tactics, leadership, morale, and motivation which enabled a result unmatched in the history of conflict. The Sri Lanka Air Force utilized its limited resources to optimum effect, using its hard-gained experience of a 3-decade-long battle against terrorism to conduct a successful counter-surface force campaign to deprive the LTT of the military power it needed to occupy territory or exploit sea space. We conducted counter-air operations to achieve and maintain the necessary degree of control of the air to give us a favorable air situation to carry out air operations in support of ground and naval forces. We also conducted combat support operations to provide necessary essentials and enhance the capabilities, functions, and tasks of Sri Lankan ground and naval forces. For the purpose of explaining the Air Force support to land and naval forces, I will categorize air operations carried out into the following segments. The Sri Lanka Air Force carried out very successful and precise air interdictions. We adopted a strict evaluation process and clear rules of engagement with the aim of meeting a key objective, that of zero collateral damage. One of the main reasons for the success of such operations was accurate and most up-to-date intelligence. The Air Force shared a database with the Directorate of Military Intelligence. We adopted our own procedure of updating and verifying this intelligence using UAVs and real-time imagery to our advantage. We carried out effective target-to-weapon matching and selection of delivery platforms, which focused on proportionality, not only to be effective, but also to ensure zero collateral damage. The use of precision-guided munition further enabled us to achieve this aim. We always had surveillance aircraft overhead the target during acquisition and carried out battle damage assessment in real time to evaluate the results. This also enabled us to effectively counter LTT false propaganda on collateral damage. The Air Force employed its surveillance assets to continuously monitor the battlefield. Proficient analysis and constant communication with the field commanders added to our success. This also enabled the Air Force to engage many targets which had a direct and immediate influence on the battle. Targets selected were analyzed using live imagery with further confirmation from field commanders. All target engagements were closely monitored by specialized officers and battle damage assessment carried out immediately after the attack. The SLF employed air liaison officers at divisional level for effective coordination. Close air support was thus provided with current and accurate intelligence and confirmation from UAVs. We used Mi-24 helicopters as our main close air support role platform and also used MiG-27s for low-level deliveries in the close air support role. We kept Mi-24 helicopters deployed in very close proximity to the battlefield to react quickly to ground force requirements, maintaining the element of surprise on the enemy. Close air support pilots were updated with real-time imagery, which enhanced the accuracy of missions. We carried out continuous maritime and coastal surveillance and shared intelligence with the Navy. The Air Force maintained direct communication with Navy headquarters as well as Eastern and Northern naval commands. This enabled the Air Force to engage a large number of LTT maritime assets. Here again, the Air Force used munitions and carefully selected delivery platforms, which gave us excellent results. Through effective and reliable communication, coordination, and positive attitude, we responded to all naval requirements very quickly. We employed our ISR assets extensively and effectively, covering the theater as well as our coast and sea. Probably the most innovative and effective system adopted by the Air Force was the battle management concept. We facilitated real-time video downlinks from our UAVs and surveillance aircraft, which we provided to all relevant agencies. His Excellency the President, the Secretary of Defense, Army and Navy commanders and their operation centers, fighter attack squadrons, and battlefield commanders were all provided live imagery of the battlefield and beyond. All intelligence agencies were linked to the Battle Management Center, and specialized teams carried out real-time image analysis. All air activity was centrally controlled through this center, which enabled us to carry out missions with accurate target verification and battle damage assessments. It is also pertinent to mention that during the last stages of the operation, the rescue of the trapped civilians was conducted where we saw real-time images of what was taking place. The ability to see the achievement of the aim real-time was most rewarding. Air transport provided a main line of communication to the Northern Peninsula, which was cut off from the rest of the country. Our transport and utility helicopters were positioned in close proximity to the battlefield, allowing a quick reaction at the hour of need. The Air Force carried out casualty evacuation and rescue operations 24/7, and you've seen clips of that before. We also carried out special heliborne operations with the Sri Lanka Army, which provided a key element of surprise. We further provided armed escort for naval convoys throughout the operation. At no stage of the conflict did the LTT pose an air-to-air threat. However, they were equipped with surface-to-air missiles and anti-aircraft artillery. We carried out a number of missions to destroy enemy air defense capabilities to gain a favorable air situation. The Air Force also deployed air defense assets to protect VPs and VAs. Ladies and gentlemen, our task would have been impossible if not for the training provided to our air crew. We exposed them to training in forward-looking infrared, night vision goggles, and laser-guided munitions. We trained our pilots to give them confidence in low-level nap-of-the-earth flying. We trained them for special night missions and were also focused on joint operations with the Sri Lanka Army and the Sri Lanka Navy for synergy. The pilots of the Air Force responded to the hour of need magnificently. They undertook missions with courage, commitment, and dedication to prove beyond doubt that it was not the machine and the equipment, but the man behind the machine that made the difference. We succeeded in achieving and maintaining an intelligence advantage over the enemy. Therefore, the conduct of effect-based offensive operations against identified centers of gravity was successful with no collateral damage. It was an effective force multiplier for the sister services to allow for multiple and parallel operations. In summary, I would conclude that a strict evaluation process and rules of engagement, the provision of real-time imagery to enhance intelligence and situational awareness, and training which improved the skill level of aircrew enabled the Sri Lanka Air Force to successfully provide the required support to land forces. With these operations, the Air Force was able to join our sister services to liberate our motherland from the clutches of terrorism and bring about an era of peace after almost 30 years of conflict. Thank you.